Nee, dat is geen speaker niet. De Axel Boy, ja. Axel Boy. Onderwijzer is. Wie zet die muziek af? Not? Music. Goeiemiddag almal, baie dankie dat julle hierso is. Dis vir my amazing om te sien hoeveel mense hierso is om Johnson se lewe te celebrate. Asseblief, hierdie is nie 'n begrafnis nie. Hierdie is 'n celebration of life van 'n jong man wat skielik weggeneem is by ons. En daarvoor sê ons dankie, ons sê dankie vir die lewe, die kort lewe wat ons met hom kon vier en waarin elkeen van julle wat hierso vandag teenwoordig is, 'n deeltjie in kon gehad het. Hy het 'n groot impression op baie van julle agtergelaat en daarvoor sê ons baie dankie. Ek wil net asseblief voordat ons nou fisies gaan begin, die orde gee van wat vandag gaan gebeur. Ons gaan vir Jamie vra om net vir ons opening te doen. Daarna sal ek 'n speech doen. Chris sal volg, Logan sal volg en dan sal Faith volg. En wanneer ons klaar is, wil ons graag hê dat elkeen van julle na die video mense agtergaan, hulle gaan dit buitekant opstel, dat elkeen van julle net 'n kort klein boodskapie vir Rosie, vir Martin en vir Roseanne sal gee. Dis 'n keepsake wat hulle vir die res van hulle lewe, van hierdie spesiale dag, saam met hulle gaan dra en saam met hulle gaan hou. So dit sal regtig spesiaal wees as ieder en elk van julle 'n kort boodskapie kan gee. Iets wat julle onthou van Johnson, ietsie stouts, ietsie wat ons nog steeds nie weet nie, want hel het hy baie goed weggesteek. So ja, absoluut enigiets wat julle wil sê, na ons die speeches gedoen het, dan gaan julle voort. Wanneer ek ook klaar is met my speech, het Chris gevra dat elkeen 'n drankie in die hand sal hê, sodat hy sy ding ook kan doen. Baie dankie, Jamie.
Goeiemiddag, die verwelkoming is gedoen. Voordat ek begin wil ek net hê dat ons almal gou ons oë sluit, dan hoop ek kan julle my hoor. Ek nog harder praat, kan almal agter my hoor? Okay. Ek wil net gou vinnig vir ons eers net open met gebed voordat ek vir julle die woord deel vir vandag. So kom ons sluit gou ons oë. Vader, in die naam van Jesus, Here, dankie vir die absolute voorreg wat ons vandag het om in U naam te kan vergader. Om U woord vrylik te kan deel, met mekaar te kan deel en te kan leer van U woord. Abba, ek bid dat U saam met elke hart, elke gedagte, elke persoon wat voor my is vandag sal gaan en net U liefde en U teenwoordigheid om hulle sal plaas en om hulle sal vou. Die woord sê, Heilige Gees is ons vertroosting. Ek bid dat ons harte vandag ontvanklik is vir sy vertroosting. Mag ons net dankbaar wees vir 'n lewe wat vir ons geleen is en mag ons 'n lewe net vier wat ons elkeen so diep in ons harte gehad het en nog steeds het. Dankie vir die voorreg, dankie vir U liefde, dankie vir U genade. In Jesus naam, amen. Rosie, dankie, dis 'n voorreg. Ek wil vandag met julle eintlik Jesus se laaste woorde deel voordat hy opgevaar het hemel toe. Dit my baie laat dink, want as dit vandag jou laaste oomblik is, wat sou jy gesê het? Wat sou jy gedoen het? En ek sê nie hierdie om enigiemand te laat skuldig voel nie. Ek sê dit net dat julle die erns daarvan besef. So voordat hy opgevaar het hemel toe, sien ons in Matteus die volgende woorde. Matteus 28 vers 19 tot 20. En dis eintlik nie meer net van woorde nie, dis 'n instruksie. So as my laaste woorde, sou dit 'n opdrag gewees het, of sou dit gewees het, weet jy wat, ek is lief vir jou, of sou dit gewees het, weet jy wat, gaan doen gou weer hê. Maar die feit dat Jesus vir ons gekom het en gekies het en gesê het, my laaste woorde ooit, voordat ek weer terugkom, is die volgende. Gaan dan na al die nasies toe, en maak my mense disippels. Doop hulle in die naam van die Vader en die Seun en die Heilige Gees. En leer hulle om alles te onderhou wat ek julle beveel het. En onthou, ek is by julle al die dae tot die volëinding van die wêreld. Ek kan nie help om te dink dat daar so baie goed is wat kon gesê geword het nie. En soms is ons spyt oor goed wat gesê word en wat gedoen word. Soms het ons verligting oor wat gesê was of wat gedoen was. Maar Jesus het besluit om sy geliefdes agter te los met die volgende woorde. Johnson het sy reis voltooi. Hy is nie meer hier nie, maar elkeen van ons bly agter. En ons het 'n verantwoordelikheid hier op hierdie aarde. Hierdie woorde van Jesus was nie net vir sy disippels nie, maar dit was ook vir ons wat vandag hier agterbly, generasies na generasie na generasie. En ek dink, as mens kyk na hierdie woorde, moet ons verantwoordelikheid vat daarvoor, en verantwoordelikheid vat vir dit wat nog moet gedoen word. Maar dit is seker, wil ek sê, een van die mees belangrikste opdragte wat nog gegee was, en in die geskiedenis nog gaan gegee word. Ek lees vir julle uit Matteus 37 tot 38, net om by te dra tot sy laaste woorde. Hy sê toe vir sy disippels, die oes is baie groot, maar die arbeiders is min. Bid dan aan die Here aan wie die oes behoort, om die arbeiders uit te stuur vir sy oes. En as jy gaan kyk in die woord, hierdie oes waarvan die Here praat, waarvan Jesus praat, is sy mense. Die mense wat nog ingewerk moet word, siele wat nog gered moet word, siele vir die koninkryk van God, wat op die ou einde, dit is al wat ons eendag kan hemel toe vat. Is nie aardse besittings nie, is nie goud nie, is nie diamante nie, is nie my dierkar of my groot huis nie, maar is siele wat ons eendag ingewen het, ingewerf het, die hoeveelheid mense wat ons se lewens aangeraak het met die woord van die Here. Familie, geliefdes, vriende, vir julle wat vandag agterbly, wil ek net sê, ek moedig julle aan, daar's twee goed, maak seker, jou saak met die Here is reg, maak seker, jou hart is vandag in regstanding, met dit wat Abba vir jou wil gee en vir jou wil doen. En dan tweedens, gaan uit, wees 'n arbeider, en bring die oes in, want elkeen van julle is daarom tot in staat om dit te kan doen. Dankie. Ek waardeer en ek is dankbaar vir Johnson se lewe. Hy was vir ons vir 'n baie kort tyd geleen. Ek het vir Rosie nou gesê, vanoggend het ek haar dieselfde vraag gevra, hoekom so gou, hoekom so kort? En die Here kom by my en hy sê vir my, Jamie, my seun was net hier op die aarde vir 30 jaar. Sy tyd was ook net kort gewees. Maar hy het sy lewe gelewe en hy het gedoen wat hy hier op die aarde moes gedoen het. Net so wil ek sê, yes, Johnson se tyd was dalk kort en gou, maar hy het 'n vol lewe gehad en hy het gedoen hier op die aarde wat hy moes gedoen het. Dankie.
Baie dankie, Jamie. Mense het brille nodig. Nou ja, soos wat ek gesê het, hierdie is 'n celebration van Johnson se lewe wat ons hierso gaan vier vandag. Ek is baie bly sy ma en sy pa en sussie, waar is Roseanne? Tussen die maatjies het sy gesê, wil sy gaan sit? Ja, ek sien jou. En dan van die vriende en familie wat hierso is, baie dankie dat julle tyd uit julle dagtaak geneem het om hierso te kom celebrate. Johnson se laaste geleentheid tussen vriende en familie hierso te kom celebrate. So waar begin 'n mens? Die skok was onbeskryflik groot gewees. Ek dink nie net vir ons nie, ek dink vir almal wat hierso sit. Dit is absoluut die laaste ding wat ons verwag het op daardie donderdagoggend toe Rosie en Roseanne in die straat afgehardloop kom. Dit is 'n dag wat my so lank as wat ek leef sal bybly. Dit is 'n dag wat ek ook so vinnig as moontlik wil vergeet. Dis net 'n nare dag gewees. Johnson het goed gedoen. Hy het ongelooflik goed gedoen in die rehab waar hy was. Hy het sy been begin plat kry. Hy het sy vingers wat begin beweeg het met die special glove wat hy gekry het. Hy het homself gevoer sonder om te mors en liewe ons het die ouetjie gemors van die hy geëet het, want Biggie het gehou van sy kos. As 'n mens daarin stap, dan sê hy, my maag, Biggie, hierdie is Biggie, ek so kos. Hy wil net geëet het. As mamma instap in die middag en sy het nie kos nie, mamma, waar's my kos? Jy weet dan ek's honger. En hy het bestel wat hy wou gehad het. So hy het sy kos, hy het sy lewe geniet daarso. So, Ja, dit is moeilik om te aanvaar dat 'n persoon wat so goed herstel het, so op so 'n herstelpad was dat mens kon verwag het dat hy gaan opstaan en uitstap, net ewe skielik nie meer daar is nie. But that is life, né? Vrae kan gevra word, maar ongelukkig het ons nie die antwoorde nie. Die patoloog het vir my ongelooflik mooi verduidelik gesê, ek kan vir jou die antwoorde gee oor hoekom Johnson dood is, wat ek met julle aan die einde sal deel. Maar mens kan nie vra hoekom nie, want jy gaan nie die antwoorde hê op 'n hoekom. Hoekom moes dit gebeur het? Hoekom het dit nou gebeur? Ons het nie daai antwoorde nie. Maar waarvoor ons ongelooflik dankbaar is dat ons hom kon gehad het vir 20 jaar en 'n paar maande, om ons lewe met ons te kon deel en daardie indruk op ons lewe te kon laat, wat ons vir die res van ons lewe gaan verder voordra. So dankie Biggie, waarever ook al jy is. Ek hoop jy sal daarso by grootouma. Grootouma is Martin se ouma. Hy was baie lief vir haar en hy het die hele tyd van haar gepraat en hy het net gesê, ek wil ouma toe, ek's reg vir ouma. Sjoe. Ongelooflik, as ek net kan onthou daardie partytjies wat ons by ons huis gehad het. Jo, daai glimlagte, daai grappigheid, daai stoutigheid. Nimmer eindigend, dit het net aangehou en aangehou en aangehou. Selfs terwyl hy in die hospitaal was. Hierdie ouetjie het net aangehou. Hy was nie sad of depressed of kwaad gewees nie. Hy was vies gewees wat vir die nurses wat nie wou aanvaar dat ek mamma nommer 2 is. Kari het hy my genoem. Mamma nommer 2. En dan kom die susters dan sê hulle, jy kan nie 'n wit mamma hê nie, jy's swart. Dan moes hy nou eers mooi verduidelik het hoekom daar 'n wit mamma is. En hy het aanhou verduidelik totdat hulle verstaan het. Dit is wat Johnson was. Absoluut dis wat hy was. Johnson was opgeneem in Helen Joseph. Ek weet nie, ek wil graag met julle sy tyd wat hy gehad het na die ongeluk deel. Hy was in Helen Joseph gewees. Daar was ongelooflike dokters daar gewees wat hom deurgetrek het. Keer op keer deurgetrek het en ek is seker daarvan die groepies wat ek en Gerald gehad het. As die boodskap uitgaan, mense, bid vanaand. Vanaand is die moeilikheid, bid asseblief vir ons. Elke liewe keer het hierdie kind deurgetrek. Elke liewe keer. Ek onthou as die stel vir my bel en sy sê, Tannie, vanaand is dit rof. Ek weet nie wat julle gaan doen nie, asseblief. 2 uur in die aand stuur mens daai boodskapie uit. Klim op julle knieë en bid net asseblief. En elke keer het hierdie kind deurgetrek. Van daarof is hy na 'n plek wat mense nie hospitaal sal noem nie, Polosong Hospitaal. Ons het daarso met veel moeite om uitgekry. En van daarof is hy oorgeplaas in Kruinpark. Kruinpark is die aftreeoord soos wat julle almal weet. Maar op die boonste vloer is daar 'n saal wat hulle vir pasiënte beskikbaar het, wat basies soos 'n private hospitaal is en operate. So daarso het hy regtig meeste van sy tyd deurgebring. Hy het ongelooflike sorg daarso ook spesifiek van Lizzie gehad. Lizzie wat hom onder sy haarvlerk geneem het en spesiale training gegee het en aandag aan hom gegee het en gemaak het dat hy oefen. Sy was regtig soos 'n moedertjie lief vir hom gewees wanneer Rosie nie daar wees en al die oefeninge kon gedoen het wat die fisio's vir haar gewys het hoe om te doen op hom neem. Van daarof is hy deur na Helen Joseph toe, want hy het begin om sepsis te kry. En ja, daar's het my oë oop gegaan oor publieke hospitale. Dit was vir my daarso baie erg gewees. Ek moes vir Rosie en vir Martin en Roseanne kry en sê ek is jammer, maar die dokter het gesê Johnson gaan nie deurtrek nie. Sy sepsisstelling is so hoog soos wat niemand sin kan wees nie. Ons het vriende laat kom van die Kaap af, ons het vriende gebel, hulle het ingekom, hulle het kom hallo sê, en wragties, hy het weer deurgetrek. Net deur gebed het hy weer eens deurgetrek. Dit was so snaaks geweest, selfs in die hospitaal waar hy gelê het. Hy was stil geweest, want hy het sepsis gehad. So as jy sepsis het, is jy nie heeltemal so lekker by nie. Die medikasie wat jy kry, slaan jou heeltemal uit. En ek en Rosie kom een middag daarso in die saal in, en hierso sit hierdie van die tannie daarso. En ons sê, hallo, dis ons kind hierdie, wie is jy? Sy sê, nee, sy het gehoor van Johnson in die hospitaal. So sy kom bid net vir die laaitjie. Volgende middag toe ons inkom, dis daar 'n oupaatjie wat daar so langs aan Johnson sit. Nou wie's jy nou? Nee, hulle het gehoor af in die sale, hier's 'n jong kind en hy het gebed nodig. Hulle kom bid net vir hom. Elke liewe middag as ons daar ingekom het, was daar iemand anders by Johnson gewees. Hy kon nie opstaan nie, hy kon nie skree nie, hy kon nie roep nie, hy kon niks doen nie. Maar elke liewe middag was daar iemand gewees wat daarso was en na hom gekyk het. Dit was amazing gewees. En toe hy uitgaan by Helen Joseph, toe kom hy terug na Kruinpark toe. En daarso het ons in alle errands op en af, links, regs, agter toe, vorentoe, dit reg gekry om by 'n prokureur uit te kom, wat vir ons die deure oopgemaak het om hom in 'n rehab fasiliteit in te sit, 'n private rehab fasiliteit, clinics. En hy is opgeneem in Selby. En in Selby het hulle baie intensiewe oefening met hom gedoen. Sy been het weer begin plat gaan, sy linkerarm wat nie so lekker gewerk het nie, kon weer met behulp begin beweeg het. Sy vingertjies aan sy linkerhand kon weer begin beweeg het. Hy het self geleer eet weer, hy het sy eie tande geborsel, die fisio het hom maak regop sit op die kant van die bed, sodat hy self kan regop sit, sy kor het weer begin sterk word. Hierdie was 'n seentjie wat op pad was na herstel toe. So ja, toe ons daar die boodskap kry, 11 dae nadat hy opgeneem is in clinics, was dit was 'n groot gatslag vir ons gewees, baie groot. So ja, dit is in kort die lewensloop wat Johnson gehad het. Sy 20ste verjaarsdag het ons in Kruinpark gevier. Chris en Logan het al sy vriende bymekaar gekry wat nog in Suid-Afrika is, want daar 'n laaitjie van oorsee afgekom. Die kinders wat in die Kaap was, die kinders wat ver gebly het, die wat ons bymekaar kon kry, het hierdie 2 seuns bymekaar gekry en ons het Johnson se verjaarsdag in die kamer gaan vier. En wow, die nurses was nie so baie lief vir ons na die tyd gewees nie, want hy het alles geëet, wat ons gebring het, het hy geëet. Hy het koeksisters geëet, hy het koek, hy het sjokolade, hy het koeldrank. So ja, die toilet en die skoonmaak daarna was bietjie moeilik geweest, en dit was bietjie vuil geweest, en dit was bietjie aanhoudend geweest. Maar hy het sy 20ste verjaarsdag geniet, dit was so lekker vir hom geweest om daar te kon sit, om met almal te kon praat en te sê, yes, my vriende stel nog belang in my vriende is hierso, hulle kuier nog vir my. So vir julle wat vir hom so gereeld gaan kuier het, al is dit met 'n telefoonoproep, dankie uit die diepte van Rosie en Martin se harte, dat julle het hom nooit agtergelaat nie. Julle het altyd, wanneer Dylan van die Kaap afkom, ek onthou, hy het altyd gesê, toe ek vir hom sê, sorry, maar Dylan drink nou wyn, hy drink nie meer bier nie. Toe sê, hierdie laaitjie beter hierheen kom, ek sal vir hom wys hoe om weer bier te kan drink. My zamma, ek sal vir hom wys, chak hierdie wyn uit, hy gaan nie 'n Kaapenaar word nie. So ja, die ou kind, hy het sy vriende gelove. As 'n mens op Facebook sien wat gebeur met sy vriende, en mens bespreek dit met hom, mens praat met hom daaroor, hy het so saam met julle daarin geleef, hy het dit gelove julle. So vir julle baie dankie. Ek wil vir my 2 kinders sê, baie dankie, dat julle so gereeld na Johnson toe gegaan het, Daniela, wanneer jy hierso was oor die naweke, om gaan rondstoot het in sy rolstoel in die gange af daarso by rehab fasiliteit. Hy het dit geloof om al die gangetjies te ry, te sien wat gaan oralster aan, om te sê ek kan in 'n rolstoel sit, kyk net hoe mooi regop sit ek in 'n rolstoel. Hy het dit geloof, maar ons moes stop by die kafee laat ons ietsie kon koop vir hom, om te kan eet, as usual. Vir Chris wat so baie met hom gekuier het, wat so baie boodskapies aangestuur het, as jy daar is, die ander maatjies gebel het, sodat hy met hulle kon praat, baie dankie daarvoor. Die dokters by al die hospitale wat 'n bydrae gelewer het om die lewe vir hom makliker te maak, meer aanvaarbaar te maak, en vir hom gehelp het om te kom wees waar hy is, baie dankie daarvoor. Die geleentheid wat Johnson gehad het om in 'n privaat sorg by Kruinpark te kon wees, baie dankie vir hulle ook, en hulle spesiale liefde wat hulle vir hom daarso gegee het. In die begin, Susan, my ou Susie, die op en af ryery, die kos aandraery. As ek vashak, is dit Susie, wat is die volgende stap? Waarheen gaan 'n mens? Met wie praat 'n mens? Jy het altyd antwoorde gehad, jy het altyd rigting gegee. Baie dankie daarvoor. Vir Elsabie wat ingespring het toe ons gesê het, Johnson begin nou 'n bietjie te veel van die ongeluk te onthou. Iemand moet met hom praat. Ek het nog skaars die telefoon of die boodskapie gestuur, toe's Elsabie daar, toe sê sy, ek kom sien hom onmiddellik. Vir Lizzie by Kruinpark, wat so nice na hom gekyk het. Sy, as enige iemand, en ek gaan haar nou promote, as enige iemand se ouer, of as enige iemand van julle nasorg nodig het, nadat julle 'n operasie gehad het, of 'n siekte gehad het, hierdie is die vrou, vir wie julle sal vra. Sy het soveel empatie, en soveel liefde om te kan gee. Vir Krishna, wat vir my toerusting gegee het, ons gesê het, ons het moonboots nodig, ons het 'n rolstoel nodig, wat kan jy gee? Sy het aangedra. Vir Nico, Nico, 'n mens druk net op jou knoppie en jy sê ek's daar in 5 minute. Jy vra nie, jy sê nie sorry ek kan nie, sorry ek werk, jy is daar. Vir jou en Alida, so baie dankie. Ja, julle het baie gedoen. Vir Steven, wat sou help met die hospitalisasie, indien ons so ver sou gekom het, baie dankie daarvoor. Vir Duncan en sy pa, wat so gereeld gegaan kuier het, en gaan bid het vir Johnson. En dan sê Johnson, ja nee, Duncan werk nou. Hy werk nou baie harder as op skool, so moenie worry nie. Moenie worry nie. Hy sal kom kuier wanneer hy weer tyd het. Dankie vir julle bydrae, vir julle inloer. Vir Logan en vir Gabby. Gabby wat so baie hard swat by die universiteit en baie ure agter die boeke insit. Logan wat baie naweke by die huis is en net inglip om te gaan sê how's it buddy. Dankie daarvoor. Vir al sy vriende van heinde en ver wat gekom het om Johnson te sien. En ek onthou spesifiek aan Helen Joseph toe ek bel en ek sê, oukies, dis bye-bye sê tyd, asseblief, as julle wil, kom deur. Jo, dit was skaars 'n paar uur gewees, toe trek die kinders in, om te kom totsiens sê vir Johnson. En soos ek genoem het, hy het deurgetrek. Op ons groepie van vriende, wat ek en Gerald het op ons groepies, ek dink nie julle besef wat 'n onderskraging julle vir 'n mens gee, deur die boodskapies, deur die moed inpraat, deur die omgee, deur die liefde, vir die hugs, vir die swinkies, vir die drukkies wat julle stuur nie. Dis unbelievable, want dit dra 'n mens deur hierdie hele kwessie. Rosie was deel van die groepie, Martin was deel van die groepie, hulle praat Afrikaans, so hulle kon dit alles gesien het. Vir NG Kerk Mildersdrift se Dorcas groep. Dit is 'n amazing groep mense daardie. Jy kan op jou laagste punt wees, en dan kry jy net hierdie oproep, en dan is hulle daar vir jou. Dis so asof hulle weet, nou moet 'n oproep deurgaan, want hierso is moeilikheid, ons het onderskraging nodig. So vir hulle verskriklik baie dankie. Vir oom Pieter en tannie Rita, Rosa, wat vir Martin bygestaan het, en so baie vir hom en vir Rosie doen, so baie dankie. Soos om nou verduidelik het, hulle is deel van julle lewe al vir soveel jare, né? Hulle kinders is ons kinders. So baie dankie daarvoor. Vir al die kinders wat in die begin direk na die ongeluk ingespring het om geld in te samel. Ons het binne 3 dae R103,000 ingesamel. Dit is amazing. Dis wat julle gedoen het, uit die liefde van julle harte uit, het julle ingespring. Daardie boodskappe het soos 'n veldbrand versprei op julle profile pictures, julle Facebooke, net met wie julle gepraat het. Verskriklik baie dankie daarvoor. Vir Annetjie en vir Gerald, baie dankie dat hulle vir Rosie elke middag tyd afgegee het om vir Johnson te kon gaan kuier, en somtyds was die kuier ver weg gewees. Joburg Jen, Paula Song wat aan die ander kant van Benoni is, Helen Joseph, Kruinpark wat ten minste net oor kan die bult is, en dan weer by Selby, wat ver intussen ry was, en hierdie mamma het elke liewe dag gaan kuier, behalwe die een dag, toe sy die kurator in Pretoria ontmoet het. Verder was sy elke liewe dag by Kleine Johnson gewees. Die voorlaaste dag, dit was die Woensdag, het Johnson gevra dat mamma asseblief Psalm 23 moet lees vir hom. En toe sy klaar gelees het, toe sê hy, mamma, ek is nou reg om te gaan slaap, mamma kan maar huis toe gaan. So ek wil graag vir julle Psalm 23 lees. Psalm 23 sê, die Here is my herder, ek kom niks kort nie. Hy laat my rus in groen weivelde. Hy bring my by waters waar daar vrede is en hy gee vir my nuwe krag. Hy lei my op die regte paaie tot die eer van sy naam. Selfs al gaan ek deur donker dieptes, sal ek nie bang wees nie, want U is by my. In U hande is ek veilig. U laat my by 'n feesmaal aansit, terwyl my teenstanders moet toe kyk. U ontvang my soos 'n eregas, ek word oorlaai met hartlikheid. U goedheid en liefde sal my lewe lank by my bly, en ek sal tuis wees in die huis van die Here, tot in lente van dae. En Rosie en Martin en Roseanne, ek weet verseker, dat Johnson daar bo sit, saam met ouma, en hy kyk af en hy sê, wow, ek het nie geweet, ek het soveel vriende, en dat ek so 'n groot indruk op almal gemaak het nie. So van die diepte van my hart, van Rosie, van Martin, Roseanne se harte, sê ons dankie. Dankie vir julle ondersteuning, dankie vir julle belangstelling, dankie vir julle liefde, dankie vir julle drukkies, dankie dat julle net daar was, en dat julle soveel vir hierdie kind omgegee het. Baie, baie dankie julle. Chrissy, kan ek vra dat almal asseblief 'n koeldrankie of ietsie te drinke in hulle hande kry voordat Chris met sy toespraak begin? Die koeldrank, die koffie, tee, alles is daar agter asseblief.
guys to come in. Okay, I'll just let Huh?
Do you want me to go get him?
No, I'm sure it'll be here just
That was the day I was lost. Just let him for 40 minutes. Last, I think, 40 days. And from there, the only days you go back to school is Friday. So you still have school for another, like 3 months. But that's your last physical school. Yeah, go look at that one. It's like that.
Okay, net 'n sekonde. Just waiting for my sister. Ja.
You say it best, you say nothing at all.
Is my suster hier? Sorry julle, ons gaan nou nog so 'n minuut wag vir my suster. Ons wag dat sy terug is. Thank you guys. Firstly, I would like to start to thank everyone for making the time and effort to join us today to celebrate the life of a passionate young man who left us too soon. Some of you might have known that Johnson was my best friend, but he was also my brother. We grew up together since a young age, moved through kindergarten, primary school and high school together. Taught each other some valuable life lessons and others not so much. Some people might have thought we had a weird relationship, but we always had each other's backs. I could call him during the day and ask him just to hang out for a bit, and he would say he's there. We would sit in the same room for a whole day, forwarding some funny TikToks to each other without saying any words, and that was one form of hanging out. On a different day, I could call him in the middle of the night and say I'm keen for a drink, and his exact words were, "Give me 5 minutes and I'm there." Sometimes making stupid decisions and nearly getting into fights on the same night. But he always stood by me. Even being so small, he would stand with me against the biggest guys out there. We would show up the next day with our moms absolutely furious, but we would always get through it together. He truly was my best friend and the brother I never had. Through the good times and the bad times, we stood together. We began playing all sorts of sports together, starting with golf, but unfortunately, Johnson didn't keep playing that for too long after I hit him in the face with a golf ball. We played a lot of cricket and rugby with the friends and family in the estates. Playing nerve gun in the backyard and through the house, where Johnson unfortunately lost a bit of his middle finger when our neighbor slammed his hand into a door. But he loved to show people his middle finger after that. When it came to school, Johnson was there to have fun and make friends. Being one of the smartest people I know, but unfortunately one of the laziest as well when it came to studying. He passed all his grades very well, but with a bit more effort, he could have done a lot better. Johnson even got acceptance into university, which was a great achievement for him, and I'm very proud of him for that. Through his school career, he built some very nice and not so nice relationships with teachers. Everyone getting along with him, but back to my earlier point, he was very lazy and the teachers knew he could achieve a lot more. Everyone truly loved Johnson, and he could get along with everyone. I never heard anybody say anything bad to him. A very, very contagious smile that I will never forget. He had such a nice smile. Unfortunately, not all of his friends were able to make it today due to us not being able to reach all of them. He had so many friends, and some of whom I never even met. He walked into a room of strangers and walked out with 10 more friends. He got along with pretty much everyone, and even all of our parents' friends. If me and my girlfriend had a fallout, and I would tell him why, he would tell me straight if I was in the wrong, and he would correct me on my mistakes. He was a straight shooter when it came to that sorts of things. He was never unfair to me or my friends. When I was right though, he might have taken it a bit too far to prove my point. He might have been a small guy, but he had a massive heart for all the people he loved. He loved all of us, and what I said today was not nearly enough. But if I had to stand here and explain his whole life and how he enjoyed every moment of it, I would stand here for the whole day. Before I say my last words, I would like to thank a few people who played a big role in his life. Starting with his family, Rosie, Martin, and Roseanne. He grew up to be a great person, and you should be proud of the man he was. He was a brilliant man. Second, I would like to thank my mom. He was, like you said earlier in your speech, he said you were his second mom, or like he used to always say, you were his white mom. Yeah, and then secondly, I want to thank Oma Anike and Opa Gerald for helping raising him and getting him through everything in life. I want to thank Nico and Alida for being the woman Tannie that he never had. Then I want to thank Laerskool Muldersdrift and Hoërskool Noordjewel for his education. And lastly, I want to thank all of his close friends, especially my sister, Logan and Dylan, for always being by his side and having his back. There's many more people to thank, and thank you all very much for the effort, prayers, and many more. Lastly, I would like to say to my second family, Rosie, ek's baie lief vir julle en weet net ek's altyd hier vir julle. Johnson was a great man. He will always be my brother. I love him forever, and he will always be missed. Johnson always had a toast to say, which I will always remember. He had a great life, maybe a bit too short, but he was loved throughout the whole life and enjoyed every moment of it. So here's a toast to Johnson's life. We're always here for a good time, but not for a long time. So enjoy it while you're still here. For you, Johnson, love you, buddy. Thank you, guys.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Logan, and I had the incredible honor of knowing Johnson and the privilege of calling him my best friend. Johnson and I, we first met at a braai a few years ago, and through our shared love of beer, rugby, awkward humor, and his ability to just have fun, led to many missions together, stupid ideas and actions. Yeah, we quickly became best friends. I would just like to share a few stories that Johnson and I had together that mean quite a bit to me. One of these stories actually happened in this bar over here. We were watching a Springbok game, and at some point during the game, a rather large 6'5" gentleman made a sly comment to me as I walked past. And being a gentleman back, I made a comment back. And as things quickly got out of hand between me and this gentleman, all 5'5" feet of Johnson stood up, got between us, and said to him, "Stop your cuck, or I'm going to put you on the floor." A few days after that, actually, Johnson came to me and said, "I found out what car that guy drives." And he said, "We can ask the guys at my opa's car wash to take the wheels off, put it on some bricks, and we'll spray paint the car." If anyone asked, that wasn't us, eh? Yeah. There was also the story with the silver TT, and there's a picture of Johnson standing in front of it there on the podium here. It's actually the original TT that first came to South Africa, and it was actually the car my mom drove to her wedding day in. The car was owned by my Uncle Paul, who knew Johnson quite well. And I needed the car for a very special event. And when Johnson found out that I was going to collect the car, he insisted on coming with me. He enjoyed driving it around so much that he ensured from the first time he got out of that car was because we had completely run out of petrol, just joyriding. Yeah. For those of you that knew Johnson, it's obvious that he was very big on rugby, quite passionate about it. He supported the Lions, and above all, the Springboks. We have many rugby-related stories together, and in fact, a very fond one I remember is we were very unexpectedly given tickets one Saturday afternoon for a Bulls game in Pretoria. But, you know, unfortunately, Johnson did have an exam that Monday. And with him not studying for it at all, we decided it was best to attend the game, and we had a great time. And I'll never forget me being English and Johnson being obviously fluent in many languages, but mostly speaking Afrikaans. Going to Pretoria, going to Loftus, he was making some comments in Afrikaans about players and how the game was going. And these two, also rather large Pretoria boertjies, stood up, turned around and did this, and saw Johnson's mouth moving but couldn't believe that that was him. And yeah, we had a good laugh about that, and it was always a very funny day. I'd previously mentioned that Johnson is a big Lions supporter, and when the opportunity arose to meet some of the players at Clearwater, they had a signing. We were there within 5 minutes of finding out, and you know, we took photos with Asinyati and Klabakanye, Willem Albert, and of course Mufasa. There's a picture of us there in the red, actually, and actually looks like we're those two people's sons. But yeah, that was also a very fond memory I have sharing with Johnson that day. We actually did an interview for the Lions on their social media. I don't think they ever posted it. One of the best days or memories I have with Johnson was actually in this room that we are right now. we sat in that corner and we watched the Rugby World Cup final. And obviously the Springboks won that game, and it was cause for some big celebration. There's a couple of photos around here, one there being by Eit's head. They didn't tell me they had South African underpants on when we took that photo. But, you know, after a while of partying here, we ended up at Uncle Maria's house with some of our friends and family. And I'll never forget, Johnson made it very clear that he was wearing a South African Speedo, or a fuffy. And he very, very impressively demonstrated to everybody just how well he could lure up. Yeah. Johnson could, as Chris said, just walk into a room and full of strangers, and he would be the most well-known person leaving the room. He could make friends with anybody, anywhere. He always focused on the positives in life and always found a way to spread his cheer and his infectious laughter. And whenever I think of Johnson, I actually always think of this photo over here, where he's holding his beer and just laughing. And when I think about all these memories and stories, it always reminds me of, you know, who Johnson really is, and how he was always there for me and for others, and just in a relatively small amount of time, the massive impact he's had on my life. And, you know, if I could almost just say this to Johnson rather than you guys, I'm thankful that you were in my life. I couldn't have imagined a better friend. And I'll never, ever forget you, my friend. Thank you.
Afternoon, middag. My name is Faith. I used to know English before Dylan and Kaylee broke my English. Now I pick it up a little bit of that, but I will try to combine it. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Chris and Karen for organizing this event for us. And then I would like to say thank you to everybody who managed to come here. If it wasn't you, we shouldn't do this. And then I would like to greet in Zulu and in Tswana, because Jensen's parents are both Swazi, and one of them is a Tswana, and I'm Tswana speaking. It's not because God doesn't love you. Maybe you are one of the chosen. And then I would like to say to Jensen's dad, Baba siyabonga ukuthi ukhulise umntwana ofana no Jensen. It was a great achievement. I will say to you, there's nothing you did wrong. It's because it was the plan. We plan and then God decide. So some of the people, they think Jensen raised by only black people, which is us. Jensen got lots of parents. I'm one of Jensen's parents. I met Jensen when I was very young with Dylan from school, and then they became friends. And then Kaylee and Ruthie also became friends. So Jensen was one of our adopted child. I always call Jensen Malema. He's my little Malema. And every time when she talk to me Afrikaans, I say, "Va, hoekom praat jy daai Afrikaans?" And then she will laugh at me, say, "Kom," say, "Faith, wat sê jy?" Ek sê, "Praat isintu," meaning Swana or Zulu. Then Justin will come to me and say, "Oh, sorry, I forgot that you are just like me." So that's why she raised by lots of people, because she was not black, she was brown like me. We don't have a black person in the whole South Africa, even here. We are brown. She knows that Jensen en ek, ons is net bruin. Ons is net swart. Let's look me here. I know we think Jensen failed us, because if I count, it's 2 years now. While she was sick, she didn't fail us. It was time. It was time, and I don't think God loves everybody who came. So when she's very sick, she was preparing us, she was preparing everybody here that Jensen must be strong enough to handle what she was giving it to him. Apparently, Jensen is no longer in pain, and she saw all the efforts, and I think she's happy where he is. We might cry, we might think it's the bad thing, except really, she's now in good hands. And I will say every one of us must set Jensen free, because it was not, the reason why Jensen passed away is because somebody hate. It's not because of the doctor. We've seen Jensen sick. We've seen everything that happened in his life. Maybe it's good for Jensen to go. We must let Jensen go. It's painful, but we must accept it. Slowly, but for sure, parents. And I would like to say to Master and Mrs. Beserenhout, allow me to call you today like that. I show you in Jensen's life, especially Mr. Nico, who was the first person to go into the scene. I think somewhere along the way, you mustn't change the way you are. You must not change the way you are. A leader, you mustn't change the way you are. You must support everybody irrespective of the color. That's what I saw from you. I didn't know the side of you until I see Jensen sick. From the very first day, my boss going all out, taking his car, closed for the traffic to take Jensen to Johannesburg, Jen. I will say, even now, Jensen will see she's in good hands, but she's watching you. As for you, Dylan, my boy, I saw you when you were at school. Every time when you come here for holidays, you make a point that you go to see your friend. That's what friends are for. Chris, I know you are the tallest, but my boy was the shortest. But that thing makes me to feel that if someone, every time when she speaks to Chris, he's like that. But she's forever, forever Chris in Johnson's life. I will say to you, keep on supporting the parents. There's nothing wrong about it. You are now family. We are family. I remember one of the day they wanted to make party. Two vrouwen en dat ze kan party bij die huis doen. Hele dat gemaakt. If Johnson, the following day, they were selling a house. The new house that we bought. They get a poster there for someone who was selling the house. They stole it, they put in front of the house. Then they were selling our house not knowing, and we've been in that house for 6 months. That's Jensen. And then they took the street pole that says salt span, and then they took that thing and they put it in our house. And I'm like, what the hell is it? That Monday was a mess. And they were drunk. They've got a hangover. Everybody op die bank. En ek sê, luister, julle gaan wakker word. Ons gaan werk. Hulle sê, hulle gaan nie alles optel. En ek sê vir Jensen, jy weet, is net ek en jy swart mense. Ons moet dit doen. En sy sê, nee, maar Faith kan nie dit doen. Sy sê, help me. But she wake up and she make loud, she put the music up, then everybody was up, then we fixed the mess. That's what I love about Jensen. Yeah, we will always remember all the good days. And bad luck is we cannot go there with Johnson. And then somewhere in the Bible, I'm not good in Bible, but I know there was this lady who was crying when his brother was sick. I think it was Lazarus. And then she was crying, she didn't eat, she didn't do anything. But after the brother passed away, then they say, you can now do everything. Yenzekele intando yakho. That was God's will. So you can eat, you can celebrate now. So people think if you celebrate if somebody dead, it means that you were happy that he's dead. No. It's like the battle's over. You don't have to fight, you don't have to, it's like that. You have to accept. That is the whole thing about the memorial services. So I love the fact that we are here and with all our love, Baya play Chris. I still love you. And Dylan and Sebastian, you surprised me. And all of you. As soon as I see you, I think that I rock old now. Yeah, I can talk old, especially when I see all Dylan's friends and Dylan, everybody, and Kaylee and Rusani and everybody. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Keep on doing what you did to Jensen. And to all the black people, I know we are not good, we are bad, but we are trying. We are trying. As I'm here, I'm trying all my best to be very good. And I will try to behave. Ek gaan net toi vandag nie, want hulle is reg.
Just the final thank you from my side, guys. I appreciate everybody making the effort again to come out and support. Just a reminder of the video afterwards, just a quick message if you guys have time, and then thanks again.
I've asked Rosie's permission to share with you the reason why Johnson passed away. As we mentioned, it was the biggest shock ever because this boy was really on the road to recovery and he was doing so exceptionally well. We had a post-mortem done immediately, and the doctor thanked us for that, because as you go along in these situations, you learn quite a lot. If you were to wait a couple of days, the outcome would have been quite different. So what the doctor found was that he had a ulcer. The ulcer was very bad and it was pushing up into his intestines. He had kidneys that were not functioning all too well, and he had breinvliesontsteking? Meningitis, and he had meningitis. So I don't know. Johnson also lay flat in the bed where he should have been slightly elevated, which was a mistake. But yeah, we weren't there. We don't know what happened, which really led to, but those were the outcomes that the doctor gave us. But one thing that I can say is that the doctor said to me, one can see on the body that this child enjoyed life. He enjoyed life to the fullest. So I said, well, what do you mean? And he says, this liver is speaking alcohol. So even in after death, thank you, Johnson, for loving life, for enjoying life, and for having the best friends out there ever. So please do go to the video, people, so that you give your short message to Martin and to Rosie for a keepsake for them to remember. And then please, there's loads of food to eat. Please do not forget to eat as well. And thank you once again all for coming and making this a joyous day where we can celebrate Johnson's life. Thank you very much all. Enjoy.
I didn't know Johnson, but I feel like I've known him. And I wasn't asked to speak, so I'm not on the program. But I do think the one person that has not been thanked is Karen. I'm a single mom of 2 children myself. I have a job, she has a job. You have a family, a household to run. And I've never seen anyone care so much for someone else's child the way you did. And I want to thank you for making huge sacrifices in terms of time, love, money, and pulling us into Johnson's family. I didn't know him until it happened. And I can stand here today and I feel like I do know him. And I just want to bring honor to what you've done, including up to today and probably even after today. Because you have thanked everyone, but no one has thanked you. Your sacrifice for me is love embodied. And I think few people will know what it took from you and what it took out of you to do what you did. And also to lose him. And I just want to say, can we raise a glass to Karen as well? Thank you. Thank you.